Happy New Year!
Ah, that's gonna get you laid. Holy
What?
shit, you
A
look
purple
good.
shirt? Really? Thank you.
Um,
Oh, that was so
really? What?
sweet of you.
Oh,
Thank
a
you.
purple shirt. Your
Just this.
shoulders are
Sorry,
super
just this.
sexy and
Thank you. Thank
clean.
you. That's so nice.
That
What is
is
your...
that new?
No, I've had this for years.
I just have
Things
never
that you
seen it.
find when...
So
No,
that,
no.
oh yeah, when you go through your pod.
Yeah, exactly. I got my clothes back.
Oh, there you
I
go.
moved
Well,
and I put everything in storage for 2 years, y'all. So it's
there you
fun to
go.
have
And
my clothes
now
back.
you got your clothes back. So,
Yes. So
okay.
Happy New Year from Charleston.
Happy New Year from Italy.
Mhm. Almost New Year.
Yay.
Yeah. Yay, yay, yay.
Yay.
Yeah,
Almost
I
New
like your
Year.
black sparkles. You look like a little midnight shimmer happening here.
Thank you.
What is
And
your
it says Chanel. One of
uh-huh.
my clients had given it to me. She brought me two when she came to Italy to visit.
Oh, cute.
So, and yeah, I like me a little sparkle. My
Yeah.
someone had got this for me like a few years ago and it didn't fit, and now it fits.
Yay. Those are
Yay.
always fun happenings when they
Hmm.
occur.
Yes,
Um,
Quay.
okay, sorry. So
How was your holidays?
it was so good.
It
Uh,
was.
yeah, it was so nice to see everybody and just take a minute with family and the littles and eat all the yummy
Yeah.
things and play with Reggie. Got to go in the
Oh,
woods with Reggie.
love me some
I
Reggie.
know that's my mom's dog. I'm obsessed with him.
Mm.
Yeah,
So,
it was lovely. It was short and sweet and fast, and all the brothers and sister came in, and it was great to see
nice.
everybody. And we'll all be together
Nice.
for New Year's too, because it's my brother's 50th. So I'm very excited. That'll be a fun night too.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a lot of
Yeah.
fun. I like to be
Mm-hmm.
in bed at 9 on New Year's.
Yeah, that's not going to happen for me this year, though. Damn it. But
That's okay.
how was your
You don't
holiday?
need it to. My
Yeah.
holiday was a lovely chill, went to a nice lunch and just relaxed with the dogs, and that's it. You
Good.
know. And
Good.
then pretty soon all of this will be coming down,
I
usually,
know.
very soon. I don't wait until the 8th like they do here. But I don't like going into the full new year with all this mess to clean.
I don't either. I don't either. So I usually do. Well, our tradition is it usually comes down before New Year's Eve or before New Year's Day.
Yes.
Sorry. So yeah, I will probably follow suit
Mm,
and take it down in the next dayish. But
there we go.
anyway, I am
Anyway,
excited to talk to you today
tell me, let's
about
talk.
setting goals for 2023.
Ooh, okay.
Are
Well,
we ready?
we are ready, but setting goals for everyone is different, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for you and I last year, there was that book, the One Little Word, and I really recommend that to everyone. It's like what word would literally be your theme of the year. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, what I've learned for me personally is that having New Year's resolutions don't usually end well for me because it's so much pressure that I gaslight myself so much that I just stop.
Agreed. And
Mm-hmm.
so, for this episode in particular, before we dive straight into all that,
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you for a second. Well, you and I had a little sidebar about this, but we thought it would be really great if you intuitively could
Mm-hmm.
sort of give us a feel for what you think is coming down the pipe for 2023, because we have been through so much. And
Yes.
part of what makes this podcast different and what makes it special is that we do have access to you and your
Mm-hmm.
gifts
Intuition.
and
Yeah.
your intuition, and I am really grateful for that. I really appreciate that, and I think if we can share some of that with everybody, and
Mm-hmm.
not to put you on the spot too much, but just, whatever vibe you're getting for the year. Is there anything that we need to... I know some things you can't say also,
Well,
but how can you
I'm
prepare
just
us a
gonna,
little bit
yeah.
for what's
Here's what I'm gonna
coming?
do. I'm just gonna give what the good Lord says to me,
Yes.
and the will just. So for me, intuitively, with my guide's help and with the help of God and all of that, I feel like it's still more emotional work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Mm-hmm.
like we all as a collective, we all haven't caught up, and I don't feel like everyone will catch up, and they're not meant to catch up. I also
Mm.
feel around April or May will be a time, let's just say you set a barometer or like an end timeline or something for how much more time you're going to give someone or how much more time you're going to give something. Start putting sort of time guides around things so that you just don't keep repeating, and then hoping, and then not getting, right? So really, if something's not working, then try it a different way. And so what I mean by that is, let's just say, if you're not getting through to somebody the way you're speaking to them, then maybe try speaking to them in a different way or not speaking to them at all, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by that. I also feel too is people are going to have to start prioritizing capitalism, or if they don't like everything that's entailed with capitalism, you can't have them both.
So when you
Meaning,
say prioritizing capitalism, meaning making a
sorry,
choice about it?
yeah, choice about your consumption. Thank you for
Right.
helping me elaborate with that.
Sure.
Meaning, we have to learn to get used to needing and wanting less,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because okay, so if you think about this, the more we are isolated and separate, the more money we spend. So that is not in the interest of capitalists.
Right.
Meaning, if we were all friends on a block and let's say we were sharing, gardening tools, then that's not great for the companies that want to sell those tools. So really everything is sort of geared at us towards, it's like, well, if you're at home alone in your house, you don't need anyone or anything because now you have to buy everything.
Right. Right.
So it's kind of like you can't complain about all of this and all the money and all of that unless you're trying to go, hey, I wonder if I could go and have these with my best friends who are my neighbors or who are my neighbors. And you've got to kind of make a decision of who and how you want to show up in this next year. So, and it's not just in consumption. It's like, do we want to be a part of the problem or a part of the solution? Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? A lot of these things are going to come into play where you're going to be not put on the spot, but yes, you are going to kind of be, we are all going to kind of be a little bit caged where someone or something or a situation is going to be like, choose. So you say you're behind this, you say you're all for this, show me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
show us where it's going, show us what your part is,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that your actions have to be now backed up with actions, not with just your words.
Right.
People are gonna be cutting off friends, family members, certain people that aren't in their lives anymore at a record rate. I just feel
Mm.
that people are going to have had enough,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like I'm not doing it because you don't treat my kids well, or I'm not talking to this one. No, I'm not talking to you now because of me.
Mm-hmm.
I all
Mm-hmm.
of that was exterior stuff before. Now it's taking accountability for you instead of deflecting all the reasons why you're doing everything for everyone else. You buy a lot for your kids because it actually makes you feel good. You know what I mean? So we're all gonna be held to a higher a higher standard. So be very careful. And I'm saying very careful about what you speak about or what you talk about, because it will go into existence amplified by 8. So if you and I, and let's just say if I'm complaining about something, or, oh, this has been slow, or da da da, be prepared for it to be really slow. And then people could be like, well, Dina, that's just communicating, da 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 da. Okay, to one person, maybe two, but to 20, that's just, it doesn't do us any service anymore. We're learning more that it's the unlearning, right, of everything we've been told about consumerism or the planet or whatever. People are now finding answers on their own, and they're going to continue to feel and find things that feel good to them and the right answers that actually are right for them in those current situations. People aren't just so easily going to go off of what they hear, whatever. They're going to start learning to do a little bit more research. You're going to see more people uniting, a lot of people on either side politically of the rhetoric. They're going to unite because the way we've been going, we're not going to be able to keep going
Yeah.
this way anymore. I feel that people, you're going to see a lot of people will do 360s where you're going to say, whoa, like they've changed everything, because some people are having come to Jesus moments and some people are finally getting it. What's
Yep.
happening is like it's quicker, 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 quicker. So as much as we say, calm down, it's a balance, your mind, you're going to have to make decisions. So if
Mm-hmm.
you are what you say you are, then it shouldn't be that hard. Meaning, if you're a
Mm-hmm.
person of your word, and if I always do what I say I'm going to do, well, then this shouldn't be a problem for you.
Right.
And I also feel too is that there may be some talk about war or whatever. It may even kind of start just a little, but it's not going to be very long lived. It won't, but it's just really to scare everyone. So if you look at what has been happening in China, and people, more countries are standing up against what's happening, about the regimes, about the people want their freedom.
Mm-hmm.
We as citizens of the world have lived off the backs of the Chinese labor force for so long, and
Mm-hmm.
they have offered us so many affordable things that we could have never afford. And I'm not just talking in the States, I'm talking in Italy, I'm talking all
Sure.
over, that they're collapsing. And
Mm-hmm.
they're like their workforce and their people, they can't perform for the whole world. So
Mm-hmm.
the other nations are gonna have to now figure out, wait, we're gonna have to
Balance.
make up for this balance. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so if you think about it, in the States, China made a lot of the antibiotics, the medicines, whatever. And it was like shortage. Fuck, what are we going to
Right.
do? Like, formula. We are going to have to
Mm-hmm.
learn to be dependent on our own countries with our own resources. And if we can't have them, then therefore we will learn to live without.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't realize that
Buy your electronics now. Sorry.
but what good are they if you can't plug them in, because we're being told that we might be out of power, and we're being told that we may not have power for a week or 2 weeks. Did you know that they have rechargeable light bulbs? I didn't know that, and I found them. And so you charge them
No.
on this base and they
Really?
last for 8 hours.
Huh.
So I'm like, what I'm doing is okay, if they're going to say all of that stuff, I'm just making a bag of emergency stuff, like rice,
Mm-hmm.
matches, all of that stuff. That's the best I can do. Am I going to sit and gaslight myself and freak myself out about it? No, but am I going to make a few steps? Of course.
Yeah.
So
Good to know.
I think these are the things that people, and so instead of going, oh my God, no, 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 it's like, no, we have all been told for so long, we need corporations for this, or we need corporate. No, we don't. We need
No, we
each
don't.
other.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Mm-hmm.
learning that when neighbors help neighbors help neighbors help neighbors, so much more stuff gets done so much quicker and efficiently, and we don't have to go to outside sources to try to fix things or whatever. So I think that is really important. I also think too, as we've been seeing animals, you're going to start to see, like we've been showing
Mm.
that. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, all I remember knowing is that I didn't know until I became a vegetarian when I was 20. I didn't really understand that like factory animals and stuff had feelings,
Factory
and
farming.
they were like, I didn't know any of that, because I wasn't raised in Orange County, California, going like, those animals that you're eating, and so I just think that awakening is just going to keep happening, and lots of people are going to start choosing alternatives of, no
Mm-hmm.
meat, all of that kind of stuff. And I think that organically, it's better to come to that on your own than being forced as, a population to come to
Yeah.
that, because it's not a
Agreed.
matter of if, it's a matter of when that is going to happen.
I
So the
love that.
sooner you, yes, the sooner you adjust yourself to that,
Right.
the easier the transition it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of going, oh, I'm going to eat as many steaks as I can until that happens, no, adjust. A steak
Don't be a
should be
dick.
right, and then a steak should be
Firstly,
a
don't be a dick.
special occasion thing,
Mm-hmm.
right, or whatever it may be. And so I think a lot of that is going to happen. I think the medical systems, a lot of them are going to sort of break in a way where in the States it'll be a way where they're gonna have to find a way to where people are gonna be able to afford health without going into bankruptcy, right? And I feel
God,
also
we
with
need that.
medicines, I mean, they're gonna
God, we
have
need
no
it.
choice.
Yeah.
They're gonna have no choice
It's
because
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous, it's unfair. Listen, in Europe, your health is it's a human right.
Right.
And so the
I
fact
love that.
that in the States, the greatest country in the world, but it's because it's capitalism, right?
I know.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Everything's
in
about money.
well, and in most European countries, I'm not sure about all of them, but it's medical isn't for profit. And
Right.
I think
Right.
that the rest of the world is going to start seeing it differently because so many more people have been affected, especially during COVID, long
Yeah.
COVID, many more things. So
Mm.
a lot of people who didn't feel that way before are sure as shit feeling that way now.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I do feel there will be a lot more, I don't want to say this out loud, but a lot more gun violence
Mm-hmm.
to where it's going to feel like massacre after massacre. And then
Mm.
eventually, hopefully, they will now go, okay, like
Oh, wow.
enough is enough, like, right. But,
God. Mm.
and it's unfortunate, but in the misfortune, I think that if we could take anything from this, we are getting traction. Those of us who are trying and who are doing the work or in that way are getting traction in the right direction. The people who don't believe in it, who aren't on board, who are on that, it's not that they're not getting traction, they're just staying the same and they're getting traction in the same space. Do you know what I mean
Mm-hmm.
by that?
Mm-hmm.
So think of it
Mm-hmm.
as like traction in Groundhog's Day. It's like you keep
Mm-hmm.
doing what you're doing, you're going to keep
Right.
getting what you're getting.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep. Yep.
because I think the awakening of wait, I get to decide how I feel in my head, and then that can trigger. We were never told that before. We were never taught that before. It's like, if you do this, you'll be happy. If you don't do this, you won't be happy. If you buy this, you'll be happy. If you have a house this big, you'll be happy. What about if you have a car that works,
Mm-hmm.
keep driving that car until it doesn't work?
Right.
And you'll still be just as happy and you'll have more money in the bank.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So you're
Yeah.
going to have to re-educate yourself on everything you thought you knew and everything you thought you learned. I feel like it's so important for you to keep learning and keep going in that direction. I also feel a lot of people are finally listening and hearing their own intuition. See,
Yeah.
I am gifted, but I'm only gifted because I had a godmother who helped me, helped me cultivate my gift at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that so many of us have lived outside of ourselves for so long, we don't know what that looks like listening to our own intuition,
Mm-hmm.
because we've always been told, well, that's not right, you don't,
Right.
that's not the way you do it.
Right.
So when I say awakenings in that way, I mean awakenings in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel too is you're gonna see a lot less people having children. And I know that that's
We
part of
have plenty.
younger. I
Just
understand, but
kidding.
you're gonna see a lot more people speaking up about it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be, well, and I was thinking about this earlier today. It's like, you want people to have babies, you want
Mm-hmm.
the population to get more, whatever, but you're not paying for any of
Right.
that, but you
Can't
want me to
support it.
pay for that.
Right.
Well, and so then therefore the Roe v. Wade and all of that stuff, it's going to turn. I feel like it will be overturned. It will be, but unfortunately, it's going to cost a few lives in order for that to be changed back, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so the work isn't done, but we are getting closer to it. We are getting made more what is that word? We are getting more comfortable with things that used to make us afraid before. We're now realizing, wait, that's not as scary as I remember. I could do that. Why did I
Mm-hmm.
think that for so long? A lot of these
Mm-hmm.
moments. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of like pointing and focusing and being mad at someone, we're going to start to take accountability and go, oh, okay, that's what I did before. This is what I'm going to do now. Because before, we all would want to go, it's your fault. You fucking made me do that, or you raised me in that way, or you made me believe. A lot of us now are ready to take accountability and to move on from it. And so, because if you think about it, when you want an apology from your parents or anything, it doesn't fucking change anything. And so you still feel the same. Those feelings aren't going away. And I think that's what people are realizing, is that I get to decide how long I sit on this, or how long
Mm-hmm.
I am upset about this, or how
Mm-hmm.
long I'm going to let this piss me off. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Totally.
And so, and then I also feel something with like the infrastructure of, I was going to say the world is
Mm-hmm.
collapsing, but the
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure, it just feels like the infrastructure is sort of collapsing, meaning like look at the stuff in Iran and the Middle East and all of these things, right? There's going to be a lot that is going to be revealed to us. And everyone for okay, I'm gonna word this carefully, but when I'm in readings I can't word it carefully, so forgive me people if I'm being disrespectful or insensitive in any way, shape, or form. It's not that we've all known what's been going behind closed doors, right? But we've all also been okay with not knowing what's going on
Mm-hmm.
behind closed doors because it's too painful. Maybe there's nothing we can do about it. So why would you tell me all of that stuff anyway? Because now I have to think about that stuff. And now that I have to think about it and I don't have any control over it, what am I going to do with all of these thoughts? So we're not going to be able to hide from that stuff anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think it would behoove many of us to go, okay, ignorance was bliss
Mm-hmm.
for a while, but it isn't anymore.
Right.
And what can I do with whatever I'm passionate and accessible to help?
Yeah.
So I'll just give you a little example. For me, it's like instead of waiting to find a program where I could volunteer for in Italy, I just start in my own community, in my own building, and I hang out with the kids or I do things. I'm talking about coming together as communities and start helping at home.
Yep.
And when I mean at home, I mean your neighbor, your
Mm-hmm.
friends,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
also feel a lot of the work stuff is going to change and reshuffle into a lot of digital stuff, and that will scare a lot of people, but it shouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
because change can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. I
Yeah.
think if we all look back, change is scary because we're resistant and we
Mm-hmm.
are afraid of the unknown.
Right.
And if we've been forced to change, most of us, we could honestly say, oh my God, I would have never done that if someone didn't force me to do it.
Yeah.
You know
Totally.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I think really is that we're all being kind of forced to step up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that is going to be a beautiful thing. And really, if you think about it, it's like we're being prepared to be one world instead of different nations. And that's what I love. I think being one world
Mm-hmm.
is so much more conducive. We have been taught to believe that nations don't get along for ego, for this, for that. Okay, sure, that could be a political ego move. But at the end of the day, when I've gone to Mexico and other places, the locals have always been the most amazing people. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that they're afraid, once we know that we can all be allies, we don't need the big government, we don't
That's
need all of
right.
that shit, we don't need
Yes.
all of that. So now think of this, the more the rhetoric and the noise is going to get amplified because they don't
Mm-hmm.
want you hearing that.
Of course.
So that's when you tune out. That's when you turn it off. That's when you, so like for me, I've gotten really into podcasts because I can go
Mm-hmm.
straight to it and I don't have to listen to the fodder in between.
Yep. Yep.
With YouTube, I go straight to my people and I don't go scrolling through the thing anymore
Mm-hmm.
because I have to see the news clips, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I do think something big out of North Korea is going to happen. I don't know what, but I do feel a sort of freedom
Mm-hmm.
with them too, not
Good.
completely like
Mm-hmm.
overnight, but I do feel it's kind of like it took the first brave, country to start and then the rest are following. And
Mm-hmm.
that is going, I feel, really is going to be the big theme of 2023 is the bravery in
Mm-hmm.
which people are standing up for whatever it is they believe, and they are
Yeah.
finally so sick of it. So remember,
Wow.
with a lot of that, it's not just all sunshine and rainbows. There's a lot of work in that,
Oh
there's a lot
yeah,
of
I
pain
feel
in
it.
that, there's a
Feels
lot of,
intense.
it's intense, but
Mm-hmm.
if you think of the greater
In a
good
good
and
way.
what's coming
In a good
after,
way.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
what's coming after
Like wow, here we go in
is
a big way.
it, right?
Yeah.
Buckle up, baby. It's
Yeah,
gonna get
yeah.
good. And stay out of shit that's not your business. Like
Yeah.
stay out of shit that, okay, so it's like if you just comment on something that's flippant online and a stupid comment, why? What the fuck? What are you contributing by doing that? So literally try to zip it a little bit because that too will come back to bite you in your ass. And
Mm-hmm.
so, really, what we're learning is it's like, yes, not in all moments, everyone's going to be perfect, but God knows your heart. The universe knows your heart. If your heart isn't meaning to intentionally be a dick, then sure, karmically, things aren't going to come back at you. But if you're just walking around insulting, doing put downs, not lifting people up, then that's going to be on you, buddy. Meaning,
Mm-hmm.
like, that
Mm-hmm.
shit's going to
Mm-hmm.
come back in your life at warp speed. And
Mm-hmm.
I also feel too is I really do feel they're gonna maybe come up with a cure for two very major things. So it could be, well, not come
Awesome.
up with, meaning it's gonna come out that they've come
Right,
up
because
with.
they've probably already existed forever
Yes,
and
for
stayed
sure.
behind closed doors.
And well, and that's what's happening now, right? Because so many people now are hearing that um they've had cures for things and
Like
have failed
cancer
to
and
use it.
Alzheimer's.
Exactly. And HIV and
Mm-hmm.
lots of different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that is going to be a big thing. Unfortunately, what happens is a lot of people who get pissed off choose violence
Yeah.
because maybe they lost a family member, or maybe they were in a shooting, or maybe
Yeah.
they, went to school and that, I mean, if you think
Mm-hmm.
about it, if you're a young
Yeah.
person, you grew up and maybe you were in a school shooting, and then let's say if one day you're in a store and there's a shooting in that store, and then that person's going to be like, I'm freaking fed up with that shit. Those are the people that will go and get laws to pass and that will
Mm-hmm.
run for, election, that will run
Mm-hmm.
for things, because too many people, if Donald Trump taught us anything, anyone can be president.
Right.
Meaning, so if anyone's
Isn't
thinking,
that
well, I
scary?
could never, well, it's actually not scary in this way. If you didn't think you could ever be president, he showed you that that's not true, no matter who you are and what you do.
And
And so
hopefully, if
then,
you stand for really good things.
well, and it will be, but I just think it's like, I want everyone to also remember in these moments and in these times that it is not the time to go, I told you, see,
Right.
no, 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 no. Be humble, be very humble with your wins,
Yeah.
be very kind with your wins. Generosity, it's so interesting for me. instead of giving things, I feel what's going to happen is people will start to give gifts from their resources, meaning me, Dina, I could give you a reading, or I could craft you something, or I could bake you something. People are going to get more creative, and they're going to be more into bartering. So, if anything, at the end of the day, a barter system would be an amazing system to live. I
Mm-hmm.
totally love a barter system. And I think that people are getting that now. Let's share, let's exchange, let's, like, and I think that that's really important. It's kind of like communal living is going to
Mm-hmm.
become a thing. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you have the young people doing the heavy lifting, let's say the great cooks doing the cooking, and everyone will start to come together. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that that is really good. But in the first half until about April, I'm not saying it's going to be, but don't expect like, oh, January 1st, new
Right.
year, new life. No, no, it's
Right.
it's more of like we're going in the right direction. So it's like, think of it as like you're kicking cancer's ass, but you're not going to stop your treatment 5 treatments to go.
Right.
It's like women with the bladder infection with the
Yeah.
antibiotics. With the second we start to feel better, we forget to take the rest of the antibiotics. Then it
Oh,
comes back with a vengeance.
I don't have to worry about that.
There you go.
Lesbian.
So lesbians get, yeah, bladder infections, bitch.
Not this one, girl. It's not a thing.
Right? And so I also, what else do I feel? Let me see, guides, what else do you
Sorry, guides.
no, I also feel public transportation is going to become more of a big thing,
That's
like
great.
it more of a very big thing, and people
Yeah.
are going to start to looking into, remember when carpooling first came out and like Uber, that isn't enough. It's
Yeah, I
got
don't
to
love
be
that.
more
Like
so.
trains, like
Yes.
Europe does it so well, and they've had these
Yes,
infrastructures in place for so long. And I look at America with all the cars and the pollution, and
for
it's like,
sure.
why? Why don't
And
we have a good system in place?
because we were told that we didn't need it and we were better and we had our
Mm-hmm.
own cars,
Right.
and why wouldn't I drive in the comfort of my own car with my own music, with my own air and my own heat,
Well, you
right?
can do
And
that in
so
certain situations, but for the day-to-day errands and stuff, why? Why do we need to do that?
because we were
We
taught
don't.
that.
Yeah.
I know we don't, but we were taught that, meaning
Yeah.
where we grew up.
Yeah. I get it.
And so I also let me see, one or two other things. Time is going to change, which is weird. Time is going to change in this way. So if you think of like the work week used to be 40 hours a week, it's not that anymore. And I'm not saying it's going to 80 or whatever. Time is just different in the sense of if you get your work done, you get it done. Great. Your time is yours. Do you know
Project
what I
based.
mean?
I love that.
Exactly. And also
You know.
time is going to be different of like our eating structure, meaning we will eat when we're hungry. What happened is I was reading this article and I've been listening to lots of stuff about this, where it's like if you take that food pyramid that we
Mm-hmm.
were as kids, that's all made up.
Oh yeah.
because
Oh, I'm aware.
because yeah, well, I didn't know that. And then it's like
Oh.
the dairy companies were pissed off that they were this low or this low, and then so it's all been, so see, when people are now finding all of this out, it's like, well, what
Mm-hmm.
the fuck? Like,
Right.
wait. So a lot of that, like we were told we eat, but that was made for the capitalist society. You eat at
Yep.
this time and this time and that time. Eat when you're hungry. Like
Yep.
eat when you. So there a lot
And
of
you don't
that.
have to have meat, dairy, fish,
Exactly.
all that stuff.
Exactly.
You don't
Well,
have
and
to.
I think what's happening is for so long they wanted us to follow, right? And now we're learning we can be independent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
that we can all be independent and we can all still come together. But
Mm-hmm.
I, Dina, independently think on my own. Do you have an impact? Sure, if I let you have an impact, meaning with who I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I know better. And so I think, if anything, the young people are teaching us so much to speak up, to
Yes.
stand up for what's wrong, for who's being treated wrongly. I have been talking to certain friends and certain people and certain things who are late to the party when it comes to whether it's identity or pronouns or whatever, a lot of people that I know think that it's a phase or people are doing it to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me, it never occurred to me to even think that way. But then again, I'm not a pessimistic person by nature,
Mm-hmm.
and my ego isn't involved. If a kid wants to wear a dress or some whatever, you're going to
Right.
let him do whatever he wants until he doesn't want to, or she doesn't want to, or wants to, or whatever. It's like, why does there have to be a timeline or something? Like, how many times have I been into, I used to only ever wear black. I grew out of it, but it doesn't mean that there has to be something on it. So I think a lot of that is where the voices are being heard more. They're going to try a lot to stop all of this with stopping social media and algorithms and
Mm-hmm.
distorting algorithms, distorting things, like whatever it may be. And
Great.
and I think that we're all becoming aware of that,
Mm-hmm.
so really what happens is if you're getting frustrated or if something isn't working, just keep doing what you're doing if it's making you happy,
Mm-hmm.
and the it's hard to round up a whole year in just this tiny, but and the last thing I'll give you
Oh, I'll
is
give you
that
as much time as you need.
oh, no, because I don't just want to talk forever. But the last thing I'll give you is that I will give you is there will be more power to the people,
Yay.
meaning we will have more power than we realize. We are
Mm-hmm.
going to have more power
That's
than we
great.
realize. And so, what I mean by power to the people is nope, that's not okay with me. We're learning how to speak to the people in power. And I'm not talking politics, I'm talking, let's say, let's say if you go to the doctor's office and they want to weigh you and you
Mm-hmm.
don't want them to weigh you, and then you say, can I have these blood tests? Oh, well, I'm not going to give you those blood tests because you're overweight. So when you lose weight, okay, but could you note it in my chart that you're refusing me these tests? We're
Yeah.
becoming aware that we had
Yep.
options that we didn't know we had before.
Absolutely.
And what's happening is a lot of people, and I think myself included, we've all been lazy. So we've all just gone with the flow because it's what we've had to do and what we're supposed to do, what they told us that we have to do. And now we're going, oh my God, wait, what the fuck?
I
Right.
think now
And
that we're
we're all
learning it feels that way. Yeah, but I think in the
for
past it was just
sure,
we were really taught to trust those people that were educated so much more than we
totally.
were. Maybe
And
they were
that's what
just
I'm
educated
saying.
differently than we were too, you know?
Well, and now, and listen, I don't go back. So if people will say to me about recently, I've been going through the autism blah, 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 assessment stuff, and people will go, aren't you mad that you slipped through the cracks? Well, no, why would I be mad? Those people weren't taught any better than I was,
Mm-hmm.
and I know my body better than anyone. And if
Right.
I've learned anything about this, is that I was masking so they wouldn't have known anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so now that I know that there are things that I can do, that makes me feel empowered.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
when
Totally.
people withhold information and you don't know what's coming next or how to prepare yourself, that's what people are no longer willing to stand for.
Mm-hmm. And just a
And
little
so it's
quick
like,
side. Oh, sorry. I
tell
was
me,
going to say
no,
quick
no, go
health
on.
side note because you taught me this years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Blood tests. Speaking of blood tests, you said go look at Groupon, and I was like, "What the
Mm-hmm.
fuck are you talking about?" And sure as shit, man, Groupon has
Uh-huh.
real blood tests from legitimate labs, the same labs that your doctor orders from, like really good labs, and you can order any test you want. There's so
And
many tests you can order,
and
and
did
you
the
can go
doctor call
direct to the
you?
lab.
Doesn't a
Well,
doctor
you
call
pay.
you with
Well,
the
you can
results?
choose. No, they don't call you, but they
Okay.
they review your blood work and then they write the report that then you get access to
Amazing.
online.
That's
And it's
amazing.
like, I mean, for $200, I can get thyroid, complete blood panel, lipids, whatever
Hormones.
you call it, all the
Yes.
urology, like all of it.
All of it. And that is
Amazing.
how I
And
found
people
my
don't know
rheumatoid
that.
arthritis. So
Yeah.
I bought a Groupon,
Yeah.
and I all of a sudden this VES is like the blood speed, right? It's the protein in the blood or something like that. It's the speed of the blood.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be 13 and mine was at 86.
Yeah.
And so when I went in, they're like, well, who's your rheumatologist? And I said, what's a rheumatologist? And they said, you're not
Uh-huh.
seeing a rheumatologist for your rheumatoid arthritis. I said, first of all, no one's ever told me I've had
Right.
rheumatoid arthritis.
Right.
Second of all, they go, what about for your fibromyalgia? I go, well, you're my doctor.
Right.
You've never
Exactly.
sent me to it. So literally, by getting those blood tests and things, you
Mm-hmm.
already go in equipped. So it's like, I
Yep.
like getting those blood tests before I go to a doctor's appointment so that
Exactly.
I don't have to wait in between and then go to another
You
doctor's
can
appointment.
carry them in with you and say, look at my results.
That's what I do.
What do I need to do?
Yes.
And yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's really, really great. And they do have a doctor review them, like I said. And the thing is, like maybe you're thinking, well, even if a doctor reviews them, I don't know how to read those tests, but they give you a range. It's like, here's the range of what the numbers should be for your
Mhm.
blood work. Here's where you are. Is it normal? Is it high or is it low? So they make it so easy for you. Just do it. Just try it.
It's dummy proof.
Seriously.
And not only that, but you can email your doctor and go, here, these levels, what do
Are
you
out of
think?
whack. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what I do to save time and
Mm-hmm.
money and things, right? And
Yeah.
so and I've also been learning too, and I think we could all learn is, are you getting mad at the doctors, the system, the all of it, right? So it's like, are you doing enough on your end? Meaning that man isn't at home with you, doesn't know your habits, that man, woman, person,
Yeah.
whatever. So
True.
in the sense is, go prepared. Are
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
doing so? I go with my list of my symptoms, the medications I'm on, my past history. That stuff is always printed in Italian and in English,
That's so
so that
smart.
there is no, so that there, because when I learned that when I talk about my medical stuff, and because I've done it so much, I get so frustrated, I start to
Right.
cry,
I bet.
and then I look like an emotional crazy person. And
Right,
then
right,
they
right,
go, you sound really anxious. Is there
right,
how's everything at home?
right.
And you're just like, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Like,
Once
dude.
again, people, don't be a dick.
Exactly. And so but and that is pretty much what I get for it. I mean, in all said and done, I think we're in for some really incredible times where we are all going to be feeling things in ways that we were never told we could
Mm-hmm.
feel before. Don't
Mm-hmm.
trust it. Don't get too excited. The other shoe's going to drop. Well, I wouldn't get too used to that. Why not? Why can't I
Right.
enjoy it right now for this moment until it doesn't happen?
Yeah. And it feels like, well, you know that. All right. First of all, let me just give this disclaimer to everybody. So
Okay.
Dina and I have
Yes,
been working
please.
together for almost 7 years now. My
Mm-hmm.
God.
It's a long time.
And if you don't think you can take this stuff seriously and what she says, I mean, you are the person, Dina, that called me in January 2020, before COVID, before all the world went into craziness. And you're like, I'm going to come to your house and give you your reading for this month and at your house. And I was like, what is this? What is happening? Because we had always done it, you somewhere else or you remotely.
Uh-huh.
And you said, no, I really want to come to you. And you went to everybody during
Uh-huh.
that time, right? Because it was
Mm-hmm.
so much and it was so heavy. There was so much to relay. And I thought, what in God's name is she talking about? What is this shit that's about to go down? Whoo, I was so grateful to have that information up front and just have a little
Right.
heads up and be able to reference back to it and go, oh, yeah, yep, we did talk about that. And okay, here's how I know that I should sort of bounce back from this.
Yeah, and
So
it's
thank
well,
you.
and if
Thank
you
you
think
for
about it,
this.
and
This is
thank you,
great.
and
Yeah.
readings are for entertainment purposes only. I
They are
am
for
not,
entertainment purposes only.
you know,
However, yeah,
hmm.
but
Well,
and
I
however,
mean, if you think
yeah,
about it too, with readings and with things, if you think like,
my
like
personal
how we go
testimony.
Mercury, thank you,
Mm-hmm.
how Mercury and retrograde. Mercury
Mm-hmm.
and retrograde is so much more doable because I know it isn't forever and you can't
Mm-hmm.
fight the universe. So the
Right.
same with readings is just to help you navigate through
Exactly.
things. And we can all
Exactly.
get through anything, especially if we know it's not forever.
Right. And sometimes things don't come to pass exactly, specifically,
Mm-hmm.
exactly the way that you're conveying them, right? Maybe but it's this close
Kind of
or
like where you're
whatever.
living now.
Yeah, well, bitch, that's a whole different thing. Dina did say, why don't you look in Charleston? And I was like, no, not Charleston. Here I sit in fucking Charleston.
And I said that how long ago?
I don't know. It's been a while.
And you even said to me, you go
Maybe
like this.
6 months,
And
eight
I know
months.
you said Charleston, but Charleston's out. It doesn't look like it's
Because I had
happening.
already
And I was
looked at
like, okay.
Charleston. Yeah, I know. God
No,
dang
but what
it.
I have to learn is
Yep.
to, instead of allowing people to sway me,
Uh huh.
is to stick to what I'm saying
What you
because
feel.
that's what they're giving me.
Right. Right.
And I have to realize that that's my ego that's second guessing it, and
Right.
I'm not relaying the information the way it was intended to be relayed.
Right. Right. Because it might make
And
sense to me in a way that it doesn't to you.
exactly. There you
Yeah.
see, now you're getting
I'm
it.
learning.
There we
But back
go.
to the whole 2023 thing, it feels to me like, and this is just my interpretation of everything you just threw at us, um, it feels like God, the universe, however you want to refer to it, is shaking us awake. And that's what's been happening since really 2020 very loudly, right? Things came into
Mm-hmm.
2020 focus.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was sort of exposed and all the bad stuff came to the surface that we're being shown we need to deal with: capitalism, our bad health system, our shitty transportation that's in effect, that's now causing, emissions and global warming and all these things to affect the planet. The way we use resources, the way we treat animals, all that stuff came up. There were, sicknesses and whatnot. So now this past year, 2021 and 2022 felt more of like, now we're discussing it. We got into deep discussions about it, right? Things sort of,
Well,
arguments about it, fights about it.
I think it's
Now
called
we have the
denial.
information. Yeah,
Yes.
but
We were in denial.
everything's inflamed now because now we've
Mhm.
learned things that we didn't know before. Now people are standing their ground more firmly, like you said, and things are coming to the surface. So now what I'm hearing that you're saying to me is it's going to amplify a little bit more because things are still going to come to the surface. But now that we've all been talking, doing the talk, it's time to start walking the walk. It's time to start digging into our causes a little bit
Well,
more.
because there's only so long that we can deny everything
Right.
until we start seeing that it's not true. You can't keep denying
It
it.
makes
So then
sense.
there are people that will, like, who aren't. So it's like I guess I invite everyone to say, are you willing to die on a cross because you're so passionate about what you believe in?
Right.
Or are you dying on that cross because your ego is so involved and you have
Mm.
doubled down so many times
Mm-hmm.
that you don't want to look like a jerk, an
Right.
idiot, stupid, whatever? So I ask you to also think about that
Mm-hmm.
before going into the new year, so that maybe you could just be open a little bit more. And it's not to hearing other people's perspectives, but maybe for you hearing it a little bit differently, it may land a little bit differently.
Yes, and I would just like to add to that that someone who can do that and who can accept that and admit that, okay, maybe I would like to see things differently and truly make that change, that is the sexiest thing you can see in
Mm,
somebody. Is it not? I mean, or
totally.
just most beautiful. I mean, your
Totally.
heart just opens to people like that. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go, you know what? I know I've felt this way for a long time, but, now I kind of think I'd like to change and think of it this way. It's
And then
beautiful.
if you're the person who somebody is so graciously and bravely saying it to, don't be like, finally, like, I
Don't
can't
be a
believe it took you
dick.
so long. Exactly. Don't be a
The
dick.
theme of today is don't be a dick.
So, see, there we go.
Yeah.
And so I think it's so important, though, that everyone learns to not be a dick, really. I mean, so the
Yeah.
theme of
Yeah.
2023 is don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
And I think that that really wraps it up.
Well,
I mean, I'd
thank you.
like some dick, but I don't want to be a dick.
Blech. Insert vomit emoji. Yeah. Anyway, you
All
can have some.
right.
All right. Well, we're not done. We're not done. That was just
Okay.
the reading for everyone collectively,
Oh,
and I appreciate
okay.
that very much. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And yeah, because you and I have to now talk about what we're going to our goal setting for 2023 for us, for
Oh,
ourselves.
okay.
So, based on what I just heard, it may change a few things for me.
Hmm.
Ah,
My
so,
2023 goal is
hmm,
success.
yes. And you mentioned that word to me the other day, and I was like, well, damn it, that's a good one. You
Right?
jumped on my word last
Because
year, and I think I'm going to jump on your word this year.
How did I jump on your word last
I
year?
chose sober last year. You chose
No, I chose
intimacy.
no, and then I switched it to sober, and then you
Oh,
came to
oh,
sober
sorry.
after.
I,
I'm the one who read the book. Okay,
you
how about
did, but
this?
I chose the word.
Okay, you chose the word. So I'm
I'm not willing to die
choosing
on my
this word.
cross, though.
There we go. So I chose the word, you chose the word. Now I'm choosing the word success. And the reason why I'm choosing success is for
I like it.
so long, I was afraid what came along with success, bad
Mm-hmm.
and good,
Yeah, me too.
meaning I didn't want to work that hard. I wasn't willing to give up a lot of my free time. I wasn't willing to do all that if I'm being completely transparent. Then also the fear of what if I try and it doesn't work?
Sure.
All of that. And now I'm realizing that I deserve it for myself, for everything that I have been through,
Yep.
to give myself the best chance at success.
Yes.
And I want to know what that feels like long term.
I love that. And,
Mm-hmm.
when you said that word, I started thinking about it and I'm like, God, I just feel like that's just going to come for us both.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a good word to have as a yearly word because it's true. I mean, I spent so many years building other people's companies and talking about how I wanted to do it differently on my own. So here I am out on my own. You know what I mean? So it's time
And
to put up or
it's
shut up,
very
Ashley.
humbling, right? It's very humbling when we're doing it on our own, going,
Yeah.
and it's easy. No wonder that person
Yeah.
was a dick. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or like
Yeah.
whatever, because it's a lot of stress.
It's a lot of
And it's
stress.
not always easy, but it is in how you handle it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if
Mm-hmm.
you can learn and you keep coming back to this podcast and you learn tools and you learn ways to handle things, you will learn that yeah, everything has trials and tribulations and things, but you
Mm-hmm.
get through them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I go with that thing of it's not a big deal unless you make it a big deal,
Yeah, I like that. That's a good
you
one.
know.
Yeah.
And you just go with these little things that you coach yourself through the day,
Mm-hmm.
that you use kindness with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes lately what I've been doing is I've been looking at a little picture of me when I'm like 9 at
Mm-hmm.
summer camp, and I'm like, we're doing this for her
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and for me too, but I got to take care of her. Like she deserves this, you know what I mean?
Well,
And
what was
so
her dream when she was 9?
to be an actress.
Oh, well, you're pretty
So
close.
right, we're pretty close, psychic, actress,
Uh-huh.
psycho, right?
Uh,
But here I gotta show you because she's so cute. She is just so cute, that little one.
oh my goodness. That is
Wasn't it
cute.
cute?
Yeah.
I
Little
was at summer
Dina.
camp in ninth grade, and I look at that little smile and that little face, and
Uh-huh.
I'm like, you know what? You deserve to
Yep.
be protected, treated lovely, adored, and you deserve to always have a smile on your face.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I'm
That's
gonna be
cute.
that reason.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
nice. You're
So I'm
reparenting
gonna be
yourself.
successful. Right. I'm giving myself the best childhood. I am doing my childhood
Here we
all
are.
over. Yep. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I
I love
love
it.
it though.
Mm-hmm.
So, other things that I've thought about for 2023 is maybe not on here, but maybe in my personal life, a little less swearing, a little less cussing around the children. Could be a good one because I'm already getting called out on it a fair amount, so I need to just be aware of that.
Oh,
But I would
well,
say, certain words come in very handy sometimes, and I like having access to them. So,
you mean like fuck?
yeah, or don't be a dick. Um,
Okay.
I, but I'm going to work on that around the kids.
See, so thankfully for me, when I'm around other people's kids here, they don't understand what I'm saying anyways.
There you
It's
go.
not,
In
I'm like,
English, you don't
it's not
swear in
an issue, but I'm
Italian,
like, I no, I don't.
thankfully.
I don't only because I know slip of the tongue.
Right.
I also think another thing for me is I am consistent with my fitness, but I would like to be more consistent with my yoga and
Mm-hmm.
my I do meditate a lot, but I would
Mm-hmm.
like to have more intention behind
Yeah.
it, as you were saying before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also being a little bit more social. I've gotten way better, but
With
maybe going
adults,
out. No, see, that's like
that's
literally
too
going.
much, huh?
No, I was gonna say maybe going out twice a month at night.
Yeah.
I don't go out at night ever.
Oh.
Because first of all, half of my friends are married and have kids, and
Mm-hmm.
so they're with their children and their husbands or their
Mm-hmm.
families on the weekends. So it's like, as a vegan, gluten-free, not drinking, am I going to sit by myself?
Your world's getting
Where?
very
And eat
small.
it. Right. But no. So I'm gonna get out more at night because
Mm-hmm.
I have
Good.
no problem getting out in the day. I am going to be more conscious of where I'm spending my money.
Yeah.
When my
Sounds
credit
like
card
that's
says
important.
this much merchandise and this much medical or this much whatever, this
Mm-hmm.
much, like those impulse things. So what I do
Yes.
now is I put a bunch of things in the cart to get that automatic like dopamine. But then what I realize is I don't get excited after a
Mm-hmm.
day two.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even
Just let
care
them
if it's
sit
coming.
there.
It's that initial, and then I
Yeah.
go and delete it.
Right.
So I'm
That's so funny.
finding little things that
Mm-hmm.
help.
I
You
got
know
to
what I
tell
mean?
you, when that pod showed up with all my stuff from 2 years ago and I opened that door, I went, it was like a sick feeling. I've been so used to living without all that stuff from my past house. I'm like, I don't need this stuff anymore. And it actually feels like weight coming in on me
It
now.
is.
Yeah.
Yes. But if you think of this, is you've learned also too, is that you don't need it if you had to live without. And so we all adapt.
Yes. And something I learned this year that I thought was really great too is because I've been traveling and working from so many different places, I've learned that I can make home feel like wherever I am, which is a really nice, really freeing feeling. And then, therefore, having a lot of stuff weighing you down just sort
Hmm.
of, it feels like an anchor that I don't want,
Yes.
you know?
When I first moved to Italy, my stuff had got lost in transit for 5 months, and I had only had 4 suitcases that I had
Uh huh.
originally come with.
Uh huh.
I didn't even care if my stuff came after that
Right.
because where the heck was I going to put it? And
Right.
then when it all came, like you, it was so overwhelming. And I
Yeah.
was like, what the heck? Before that stuff came, I felt like I could bolt at any
Mm
time
hmm. Mm hmm.
because I
Right.
wasn't stuck
Yeah.
somewhere.
Right.
Even kind of in this apartment, because this furniture isn't mine, I don't feel as stuck.
Yeah, that's nice. That's
You
nice.
know what
Although
I
I did
mean?
need
So it's
some
like,
furniture to outfit this place because I'm renting it furnished, but so I used some pieces, but the
mm-hmm,
bulk of it, I'm like, oh my lord, I do not need all this. I
right.
need to spend time and go through that. Anyway, and let's really quickly talk about our word from last year, which we did
Mm-hmm.
together, which was sober.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel after doing a year of sober? Cali
Okay, so
sober for
I
you, maybe?
feel fantastic.
Yeah.
But what I will say this, the number one reason I wanted to try it was I wanted to see what I could accomplish
Mm-hmm.
and what I would maybe be holding myself back
Yeah.
from. So what I've been able to accomplish and add to my life is the consistency doing the daily videos. Never in my life have I showed up for myself that many days in a row
Wow.
consistently.
Huh.
And we're looking at almost 6 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on the daily, I do it.
And they're
Thank you.
great.
And
I
then
love
we
them.
started the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then where I moved here, I lived in Rome for 10 years. I had one Italian girlfriend
Mm-hmm.
in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I've now made four
Mm-hmm.
solid friends, girlfriends here, which is
Mm-hmm.
like amazing.
That is.
I also, because I also would judge people if like they don't drink, I didn't want to hang out, in the sense of like, you're
Mm.
no fun. Like, I'm not gonna go out with you. And so now I've realized that that doesn't matter to me
It's not a
anymore.
thing.
And then also I've been able to release 25 pounds. And then I'm only
Do you think that
12.
was from the alcohol? Letting go of
Yeah, I
alcohol?
think I think it's the alcohol, the inconsistency with exercise, the inconsistency with keeping a routine because of being hungover, and then the,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
drinking the wine and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I've
Mm-hmm.
also been gluten-free consistent for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the inflammation, the pain, I've been able to get
Yay.
under control.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So a lot of things have come out from that because the autism diagnosis and everything.
Yeah.
I don't think if I was drunk all the time, I would have been quiet enough to have heard the signals and the signs.
Yep.
My ego would have been like, are you kidding? There's no fucking way. But now I was quiet enough at night alone,
Yeah.
watching podcasts or videos on YouTube or whatever it is, reading more,
Mm-hmm.
getting more into that. So I think that so many great things have come from it for me. So what
Same.
about for you?
Oh yeah, same, totally. I mean, I just find that my priorities shifted. So when I was drinking, my evenings were my favorite time of day because I was
Uh-huh.
looking forward to that wine. And but the thing is, I'd have a few glasses of wine, and most nights, let's be real, I was by myself, because here we
Me
are.
too.
So, what was I doing? I was drinking and then just watching whatever on TV and scrolling through social media or talking to people on the phone, but it felt like a big time suck. And
And when I drink, I like to eat. So for
yeah,
me,
then you're
I would do
snacking a little
good all
more and
day and
mm-hmm.
then add that wine and bean and cheese burrito and then sorry,
Ooh,
go on.
yeah.
You know.
But so when I stopped drinking, I no longer cared about staying up as late. So now bedtime for me is like, I mean, I'm usually in bed by 9:30, and I'm asleep by 10:30. I like to be in
Me
bed, and
too.
I like to, like right now, all the Christmas movies that were out this month and whatnot, I've just been heaven. They're so fucking
Ah,
cheesy, but they're so fun to just lay in bed and watch at night. But,
why do you think I have the Christmas tree
yeah,
in my bedroom?
right. But I'm saying so now I'll lay down and I'll read something or I'll watch something that I feel like either has something to do with educating me on a project that I need to know about for work and my writing, or it's more specific. Some stuff for fun for sure, but I'm trying
Mhm,
to again be more intentional about how I'm using that time, and I'm going to sleep earlier. I'm asleep by
mhm.
10:30, and then my mornings are super productive. I love my
Yes,
mornings. I love
me
them.
too.
I love
Yes,
watching that
and
sunrise come up, and I love knowing that I have all this time in the morning that I can get so much done.
yes. And
So,
I will say to those people who have chronic pain like I do, I used to think that the wine helped me with my pain.
mm-hmm.
It actually, I
Ooh,
didn't realize was making it
it's
worse
inflammation.
because the inflammation, the hangover,
Mm-hmm.
all of the being heavier from eating late at night, drinking late
Yeah.
at night,
Oh, yeah. All
then
that
getting
comes into
hair of
play.
the dog in the morning. So I didn't realize that I was on a vicious cycle of
Mm-hmm.
just making my pain stay inflamed all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I think it's a combination of all of it,
Mm-hmm.
but I would have never been able to start any of it if I had still been drinking.
Same. And I'm grateful to you for challenging me, because also I will say it's easier to do it with a partner
Mm-hmm.
because you can kind of throw that off on them if people are ragging you about it in public. I had so many people, why are you doing this? And I was like, my life coach challenged me. And I'm sticking to it. And they're
And
like, well, for only a year, right? And then it's back into it. And I was like, no, I think now I'm not going to feel, I mean, I will want to have a glass of wine on a special occasion.
uh-huh.
Don't get me wrong, or on a lovely date, but I don't want to go back to how I was
But
consuming because it was too much.
I want
Uh-oh.
to, because I would
Here she
like the
goes.
listeners.
Bitch. What are you about to do to me? I can see it coming.
What are you
I know you so well at this point. I can see it coming. What?
No, I'm just saying I would love to check in with you
Mm-hmm.
that first morning after that first night of having a glass or two of wine
Okay.
and tell me
Oh
if you
boy.
still feel the same.
Meaning I still want it, or I might just get off of it
Yeah,
completely. Oh.
yeah.
Ugh. Oh boy.
Only because, see, we
Ugh.
were used to drinking a certain amount because our body got used to that.
True.
And then we were able to be, do you see what I'm
Ooh.
saying?
Good
So
reminder.
I
I
hear
don't
a
want that.
lot of people talk about, I only just had a half a glass and I'm hung over.
Oh God.
And
That sounds
so
like
I'm
hell.
I'm just right.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying
God.
is
What was?
that when my friend came last a couple weeks ago with Orlando, and she was barely moving, and she just doesn't drink in
Uh
general.
huh.
And she's like, I swear to you, I had a half a glass of wine. When I saw her struggling,
Uh huh.
I was like, oh, I do not miss that.
Yeah.
No, 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 no,
No.
no.
Yeah, I've seen
Mm-mm.
people struggling and
I'm
doing
talking a half a
that, and I'm
glass,
like,
not half a bottle.
yeah, no, but exactly. But I was planning on having one with my brother for his 50th, cheersing and having a
Uh-huh.
little glass that night. Maybe I'll just dilute the crap out of it and
And
make it
yeah,
last
you
a
just put, I used
long
to
time.
put a lots of sparkling water
Yeah,
and just make those
yeah.
spritzers.
I'll pour
But
straight
now
on tap
remember
water in there. I
this.
don't care.
Now I want you to be, I used to do
I
tap
am
because my
classy like
stomach,
that.
right? I want you to remember this though, as I'm holding my crystal. I want you to
Uh-oh.
remember that if you're going to do it for some brother's birthday, you're going to have to do it for
Oh,
everyone's
no, bitch,
birthdays.
no, I ain't.
Well, they're
No,
going to be like, you
I
did it
don't
for so
care.
and so on his
So
birthday.
what?
You
Is
did
it
it for
your
blah, blah,
50th?
blah.
Fuck off. Sorry,
Okay,
back to
but
the
when
no
it is
swearing
their
around kids.
50th or their 60th or their
Well, we'll see how
70th,
I feel by then. Maybe by then I'll have a half a glass of watered down wine with you too. You're welcome.
mm, that's
That's how
right.
much I love you.
I'm
No.
so
Yeah, I hear
excited.
what you're
So,
saying
well,
though, and the only reason I was choosing that night too is because I don't think any of the kids are going to be around. But I don't want to drink in front of the kids anymore. That's become a thing that I'm just like, I
yes,
don't like setting that example, you know?
I agree. Especially that you see kids when they're like, Mommy, don't you want your mommy juice? It makes you happier. And you're just
Right?
like, what did your
Yeah.
kid just say? Like,
Uh-huh.
I mean, or kids that literally know to go make their parents a glass of wine if their parent is in a grumpy mood.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know any of those people, thank God.
Oh,
Or
I
maybe I
do.
do and I just don't see it happen, but
Hmm.
pretty funny.
So
But
there, well, it's
anyway,
not that you know those people, you just don't know those kids.
or I'm not around when it's happening.
Yes, there you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
All right.
Anyway,
So our I don't know, do we have a subtle change profound impact for this episode
our
then?
subtle change and profound impact would be go inside first and start to listen to how things make you feel instead of going outside asking other people who actually don't have to feel what you're feeling how or what you should feel.
I love it. And the
Okay?
theme still is don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Get some dick, but just don't be a
Don't eat a
dick.
dick. It's disgusting. Anyway, I love you.
I love you too. Happy freaking New
Happy
Year.
New Year!
Yay.
All right. I'll see you next time. I'll
Okay.
see you next
All
year.
right. Ciao.
All right. Ciao.
Bye. Gobble
Bye.
gobble. No, that's not gobble gobble. Okay, bye. Ciao.
Girl.